Thank you so much for the time today. How are you?
Man, I am really good. I'm coming to you live here from Gwen's Zoom setup that she has. If you're wondering what all this weird stuff is behind me, that's her Give Makeup neon sign up there, and I think this is like a Harajuku painting or from when she used to have this cartoon years ago called
I
the
remember.
Harajuku Girls or something, and so she let me use her little Zoom set. I'm totally the brands aren't working together, I don't think, but here we
I
are.
was gonna say I'd expect a little more camo maybe in your Zoom room. That's
There
very
should
kind of
be.
her. How have you guys been?
Man, we've been great. I'm having the time of my life right now, just in my personal life and my music life. It's kind of been off the radar for I guess a couple of years as far as releasing any new music or anything, and so it's exciting. I kind of feel like a new artist again, sticking my neck out there, and I'm having a blast with it. Though I'm loving just talking to you guys and doing these interviews and telling old stories and stuff. I never until recently haven't really thought about how long I've been doing this and
It's the
the
first thing
questions.
everybody wants to bring up.
Yeah, well, it's funny. The questions that I get are like, "Wow, yeah, hadn't thought about those things in years," and it's fun to think about this stuff again.
For sure. You mentioned having fun. I got to catch you at Nissan with Post the other night.
Oh, you were out there.
That was really fun.
Oh my God, that kid is I don't know how he does it. Like I've never been around a more infectious, happy person in my life as Post Malone, and anyone who's I hope everyone gets a chance to shake his hand one day because you'll have a better day because of it. I mean, he's just the happiest, most gracious guy I've ever met in my life. I mean, I don't mean one of, I mean the. And he really, I credit him for really firing me up again about wanting to get in and make another record and get some music out there.
That's awesome. I feel like every person I've talked to about Post has said the same thing that you did, like the most
Yeah.
polite, the most kind, and also just like the most knowledge of country music, which I think is the thing that everybody was surprised about.
Yeah. I've had a few questions, over the last few months about what do I think about, Post and coming into country music and that whole thing. And when, man, I think with Post Malone, that I think the difference is I think Post isn't trying country music. I think he's just finally getting to do country music,
Yeah.
which is obviously something that's been a part of him his entire life. And he's when you go and watch him, you know, do one of his shows, he ends up doing more covers than he does of his own music. He's doing freaking Brad Paisley and Dwight Yoakam, Hank Jr. And you're going, oh my gosh, he knows more country music than most of us know. You know what I mean? And it's a part of who he is as a human being, and I think that's why it's just so genuine and why it's connected in the way that it has. And man, I'll tell you something else too that I noticed is. His album came out and already, and it's a huge, obviously a huge album, and he's had hits already, and it would be real easy for him to kind of take his foot off the gas as far as Nashville goes and being a part of the community there. And I'll be damned if, I was at the Country Music Hall of Fame induction for Toby Keith. I performed and I walked down in the hallway and there's Post Malone standing there performing for Toby that night, and it's like he's still doing it. He's still paying tribute and showing appreciation for country music and the artist and the industry itself. And I hope he's here to stay. I think he is, but I sure hope so. He's been a good shot in the arm for all of us, I think.
Definitely. Well, you mentioned he was a good shot in the arm for you wanting to put out new music. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the new song Texas. Tell me the
Yeah.
story behind this one.
Well, I don't know. You probably even haven't even heard the song
I
yet.
did hear it. I
Did
heard
you
it
did you
last
hear
night.
it?
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
good,
you could
good.
call it a bop. It's very catchy. I liked it. I would listen to it 4 or 5 times in a row.
Oh my God, Katie. Well, the song is just, I felt the same way when I first heard it. Scott Hendricks sent it to me, and uh, I thought, my gosh, this song is really special. I was a little bit nervous about it for me. In fact, I told Scott, I said, I think I don't know that I could see myself doing that song, but then the more I thought about it, the more I came back to that's maybe exactly why I should go in and record the song. There's nothing wrong with recording it and seeing how it turns out, and so that's what we did. And thank God, I got past, my insecurities about that because we had so much fun recording it that I swear if they hadn't have said, hey, you guys, we really need to turn this in and get it printed and send it out to the streamers and radio and stuff, but we would probably still be in there playing with that track because we were having so much fun with it. That's why I don't know if you noticed or not, but there's a hawk screaming in the intro, and there's the good, bad, and the ugly whistle in the song. And we were just doing all kinds of weird stuff with the answers and I don't know, man. It's some of the most fun I've ever had in the studio making a record, and that's just because the song is fun. That's all it's really meant to be anyway.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was so fun. And I feel like, you obviously have a good track record with songs about Texas and you like think about
Yeah.
Austin. It's like kind of like maybe like a cousin to Austin or like
Yeah.
distantly related a little bit.
I think what I'm gonna have to do is do the songs back to back in concert. So we do Austin, Texas. It makes sense somehow, right? On the set list.
Yeah. Well, new music coming. And then this is like the first we've heard from you, I guess, like you said, since 2021. Where are you at in the process of a new album?
If they told me today, hey, we have to put out your album tomorrow, I have enough stuff cut right now that we could put together a record. But I still want to keep looking and playing around and recording some stuff right up until they tell me it's time to turn it in. And so to answer your question, I have a record ready to go. I would like to keep looking and playing with it and for the next few months and recording some more things uh, because I feel like I'm just now figuring out, especially with Texas, what I want the sound to be like. Not that I want a whole record that sounds like Texas, but just kind of where I want to move to with this next step. And so I'm going to utilize as much time as they'll give me to look for more songs and try to write or whatever I can do to keep taking more steps if I can.
Definitely. You mentioned feeling like a new artist again, obviously, like with the new music and then the change of record label. Like, I imagine it's got to feel really good to have this, like, all this new energy and support around you that's giving you that feeling too.
It does. I think that's probably half of the new artist feeling. Is having it signed with BMG or Broken Bow. I don't even know which label they put me on. I'm on
Oh, either.
BMG, and there's like five labels underneath the umbrella, but uh, it is because these are people that I've met over the years, but never had a working relationship with. Just had a kind of a high five, good to see you relationship with over the years, and now we're on a team together, and it really is like a rejuvenation, and it really does bring a new energy and excitement because uh, I want to win for them. I want this to work for them because they took a chance on me, and hopefully vice versa. They hopefully feel the same way, and it's creating this excitement.
Definitely. You also announced recently that you are doing a Vegas residency in February. What are you most
Yeah.
excited about for those shows? I feel like with Vegas, you get to do things a little bit different than normal.
Yeah, I guess I really need to put some thought into that. I haven't really, but to me, I was just like, these are just six more shows on my tour. That's kind of how I've thought of it. But then Gwen is the one to say, she goes, that really is bull crap that they're calling that a residency because I did a residency. I did like 63 shows and you're doing like six shows. That's not a residency. That's just, you're just staying there an extra weekend. I'm
Just
like,
like get out
well,
of my
I
Zoom
can't
room.
help what they call it. They're calling it a residency, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get me a sparkly shirt or something to wear. I can't imagine knowing me that I'm going to do anything that crazy. Maybe I'll dig out. I've been doing this a long time, like almost. We're getting close to 25 years that I've been making records and putting them out, and so I think if there's anything that I should do, if people are going to travel to come see me, they're probably fans that if they're willing to do that, they've probably been following along with me for a long time. And so I think maybe the best thing I can do is dig out some of those old songs that I just don't do anymore for whatever
Uh-huh.
reason, that I know were big records at the time, back in the freaking 90s or whenever they came out. And dig some of that stuff out and maybe do a portion of the show that's dedicated to old stuff. I don't know. You and I are brainstorming right now. I don't
Right
know
now.
what to do, but it's still, a couple of months away for me may as well be 10 years. I don't think about stuff till it's like last minute and they tell me, hey, we got to build your lighting package. We need to know your set list like now.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, after 23 seasons on The Voice, are you enjoying having some of that time back in your life?
Oh my God. Yes. Hey, that show was easily the greatest gift that I could have never even imagined in my life and career, for all kinds of reasons. It changed my life and took my career to a place I didn't even think I had in the cards for me. But man, I needed a break. I two seasons a year for 12 years, and it really does dominate your life when you're on that show, because artists we're spoiled in that we can we can kind of say no to things if we want to, but there you're working for the network, and when they say it's we need you here, they need you here, and so you try to fit their schedule in with your tour and your
Mhm.
record making and your interviews and award shows, and the next thing you know, your year's gone.
Yeah,
And so I wanted to stick with it as much as I could and long as I could, but it was time. It was time for me to take a step back, and it was right on time, actually.
for sure. Well, I'm sure it's nice to look at the calendar every once in a while. I'm like, wait, there's an open weekend. I don't have
That's
anything to
right.
do.
That's right. But now Gwen's back doing the show, and I'm going, oh my God, what do you mean you got to be at the Voice? Let's go somewhere.
I love that. And I do think
Yeah.
it's so fun to see country music still having such a big part of the show, like with Dan and Shay and Reba, and now
Yeah.
Kelsey going. Did you like
Yeah.
impart any wisdom to them on the show?
Well, I've known Reba for, 100 years, and I did talk to Reba quite a bit about doing the show, and I encouraged her. I think she didn't tell me this. I think she had already signed on to do the show, and she just wasn't telling me it, because looking back how it timed out, I was like, I bet she was going, I'm already going to do it. But I remember talking to her about it, and because I know that they wanted Reba before they wanted me to do the show when they first were coming up with the first season of The Voice, and she didn't feel good about being on a reality show and maybe being she didn't want to be a judge of other artists, which is
Yeah.
understandable. But I'm glad she's doing it now. I think that after she could see what it really was, which you are judging people in a way that you're trying to help them. And so I think she's great at it. I mean, obviously, I think she won. I know she won once. Uh, she'll probably win again. I mean, she's Reba.
Yeah, I know. Unstoppable, right? Well,
Yeah.
while we have you on the show, you're actually going to be on with me for a whole week. We'll be co-hosting some stuff together, but we're going to play a bunch of songs. And one of them I'm excited to play is Some Beach, which will turn 20 this summer.
Oh
What
my God! Wow.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm one of those people that's like, wow, how long you been doing this?
I know. Well, if it turns 20, and think about this, that was my third album. So if that shows you how long I've been around.
What do you remember about that song and like the first time you heard it? Was that one an immediate yes for you?
Yeah, it was. First of all, Paul Overstreet and Rory Feek wrote that song, and growing up, I would consider Paul Overstreet, one of my top three influences, one of my heroes, as an artist, uh, not just his songwriting, but also as his records that he made as an artist. And so Bobby Braddock sent me the song, and he goes, Paul Overstreet wrote a couple of songs he wanted you to hear. I was like, what? Paul Overstreet, I played it and I was cracking up. I was like, and it was out of left field really for Paul, because Paul is kind of just, always written these positive love songs. He's just really been his signature forever. And so he wrote this song called Some Beach, and it's just such a goofy song, but there's no way to listen to it without smiling and laughing. And so we went in and we cut two different versions of Some Beach. And the first one that we cut was kind of like, in our minds, we needed to cut it like a Jimmy Buffett sounding record, because the beach,
Yeah.
idea, and it had steel drums, I think, on it, and like mariachis sounds or something, and we were like, man, we just totally overthought this, and so we went back in. It's one of the few songs. There's been about 3 or 4 songs in my career that I played guitar on the record, and Some Beach is one of them. And I say this, and I'm being serious, that we really wanted to just kind of dumb it down and
Uh-huh.
just make it just straightforward. So I was like, well, I'll see if I can even play guitar on this thing. So that's me playing guitar on that record, and acoustic guitar. And so we ended up just going straight ahead down the middle country and just let the lyrics stand on their own. And that's how it ended up working.
That's awesome. Obviously, another one we'll play is Austin. And I always love to ask this question because it was your first number one song as an artist. This is like really the first time that after like, living paycheck to paycheck and really having a hard time, literally like starving artist, did you make a memorable or like a big first number one purchase?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I bought some land, and over in Hickman County, which is just west of Nashville. There's a little town called Centerville. Sight unseen, by the way. I bought 115 acres, and it had a house on it that was 800 square feet. I remember thinking, why would you even build a house that's 800 square feet? Like that's like a motel room sitting
Yeah.
out in the
A
pasture.
shed.
I know, but it had a little brick house on it, and I mean, I obviously didn't. The only difference was I was able to finally borrow the money to buy the place. I was like, look, I haven't. This is me on Billboard magazine. I have the number one song in the country. Can I at least borrow the money to buy
I
this
have a
land?
mortgage, please.
Yeah, and back then, I think the farm cost like $150,000 back when you could buy land for nothing out on the outskirts of Nashville, and so it was a stretch for me, but I did. I was like, this is my chance. I've always wanted to own land, and so I bought it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
While we also have you on, it'll be a little bit closer to Christmas, so I want to ask a few holiday things. What are you guys looking forward to this year for the holidays? Do you have any specific traditions that you and Gwen do with the boys that you always look forward to?
We do. Have you ever seen on like TikTok or Instagram those people that make those flaming hot Cheetos turkeys? Have you ever seen one of those? It's the dumbest
Yes.
thing. It's so dumb. Well, the kids wanted to do that about 3 or 4 years ago, and so we did. Watched the TikTok or whatever and learned how to do it, and we made one, and it was pretty damn good, really. I mean, it surprised me, And so the next year, and we did it because our middle son wanted to do it, and then the next year, our youngest son, well, he wanted his turn to make a turkey, but he didn't want to do the flaming Cheetos one, so he wanted to do Funyuns. So you crush these Funyuns up and make like a powder, and you coat the turkey in this stuff, and we made it, and it was pretty good. And then last year we did one because we didn't even think of it till last minute, and all we had in there was like a couple of bags of like nacho cheese Doritos, and we tried it with the Doritos, and I do not recommend that. I mean, it was just like, imagine just wet Doritos like stuck to the side of a turkey. It does not work the way the other stuff does. So
So what is the
that
gift
is our
going to be this
Thanksgiving
year?
tradition is these weird turkeys that, end up having to feed half of it to the dog because it's like weird.
Oh my God. Well, I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what you guys try this year because that is when
We'll
you,
try something. There will be something weird.
oh my gosh, that's great. And then what kind of gift giver are you? Like, are you last minute shopper? Are you done early?
I'd like to think I get done early. Uh, I think I'm a pretty early gift getter because I really do stress out about that. I got bit a few times about ordering something and not coming in for Christmas, and it's the worst feeling in the world when somebody gives you a gift and you go, yours hadn't come in yet, because in their mind they're thinking you didn't get me anything. I'm sure
Oh
it didn't
God.
come in
Uh-huh.
yet. You're ordering it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to get everything bought early, mostly because I can't think of anything last minute. I really have to start thinking early about what somebody would actually want.
Do you feel like you have an easy time buying stuff for Gwen, or is it harder?
It's pretty easy for me, honestly. I mean, yes, yes, anything Gwen Stefani wants, she can get, probably already has it, or she can get it. But I'll tell you this about Gwen: she can never have enough of some things, and that includes flowers, flower bulbs, flower seeds. You just can't go wrong. Anybody out there watching, if you ever want to, out on tour, send Gwen a gift or something, iris bulbs, daffodils, all that stuff. I mean, I'm the one that is out there, digging a hole for this stuff, but she can't have enough of it. I remember last year, it looked like she was going to get, everything in the store, and she started opening her presents, and it's like a 5 pound sack of, zinnia seeds and a box of bulbs. You can't go wrong with that stuff for her.
That's so sweet. I love
Yeah.
that. And then what was the best gift that you remember Santa Claus bringing you as a kid?
Bringing me.
Yeah. Did you
Woo.
ever bring you one?
Yeah, I do remember just being shocked because it was something I didn't ask for. I didn't know how badly I wanted it until I saw it. I got my own stereo system one year when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. My brother had one, my sister had one. Just like the entertainment case with the
Oh
two
yeah.
speakers next to it. It seemed larger than life, but it was probably. But it had a record player and a cassette player. Had the two cassette players so I could record. And I used the hell out of that thing. And when I saw it sitting there, though, just my mind was blown. It felt like such a grown up gift for me to have. And it was a big deal for me. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Yeah.
precious. Listen, Blake, thank you so much for the time today. I mean, like this song was so great. I really listened to it on repeat several times
Oh
yesterday.
my God. Thank
It
you.
came
That's
out.
4 streams we got right there then. Good.
You're welcome. Awesome. Well, listen, have a great rest of your day. So good to see you.
You too. Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.